Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to do a tab binding process for binding a book. This is a beautiful art book that you can add to it by using artwork, stamps, paintings, collage. I'll show you how I did that on one of them. I found a metal tag at the store that I just love the shape of. They make Christmas ornaments in this shape as well, but I'm sure you have a tag around. It doesn't even have to be metal. And if you don't have one, you can make one out of cardstock or cardboard, or you can skip the cover altogether. This is a fun technique, and the process of tab binding is a great one for using single pages to bind them in a book. So let's get started.
So to start making this little book, you'll need something for the cover and the back. I found this little metal tag. I think it was at a Walmart. It's just a really thin little tag. I've seen Christmas ornaments in this formation. It doesn't matter. You just need to have something flat. Because I didn't have a backing, I took a piece of fairly stiff cardboard and just traced around my tag. And that's exactly how I'm going to do the pages for this book. Now these pages are using a tab binding as a way to bind this book. And so that means each page is standalone. It's not a folded page. It's just the same size, maybe just slightly smaller than the cover or the back. So to do that, I just take a piece of paper. This is the paper I want to use for the pages. You could decorate it as much as you want as well, but I'm just going to show you the process of the tab binding. I take my cover and I'm just going to trace around it, lining it up on the edge. Now I'm only going to make one tracing right now because I want to make sure I get the size right. So now I'm just going to cut on those lines. And then I have a tag that's the same size or maybe just slightly larger than the book cover. I'll remove this little ribbon up top first. And now I want all the pages to fit inside. This happens to have a little lip. If you're not using this, you don't need to worry about that. But you still want it to be inside your cover and your back. So again, I'm just going to go around and just basically trim 1/8 of an inch from all of these sides here. Just again. And there it fits nicely inside my cover. So that's the size I want for the pages. So the next step is to use this as a template, and if it stays in good shape, I'll use it as one of the pages as well. And I'll just very carefully trace around this paper here and cut out as many pages as I want. So come up with as many pages as you'd like. Here I cut out 13. I'll see if I'm going to use them all. I'll need some permanent tape. This is a red line permanent tape, which I love, to attach the pages to the cover and the back, but I'm not going to use that just yet. So I'll set those aside. Right now, I want to create the binding. So I take all my pages, I like to set them to the right-hand side because I'm right-handed, and I take the tape. This is what's going to make the binding. This is a fabric tape. It's very strong. If you don't have fabric tape, you don't need it. You can use duct tape. You can use masking tape. Washi tape I find comes undone, so if you're going to use washi tape, you'll want to adhere over the washing tape. So that's one of the reasons I like the fabric tape, is I don't need an additional layer. But it's totally fine to use masking tape. Even Scotch tape probably work. Now, I cut this tape down just in half because I felt like these strips were very large. What I need to do is alternate the pages with tabs, and I like to have 3 to start with, but 3 would not fit here because the next page I need room in between them. So that's why I just cut the strips maybe 2 to 3 inches long, and then I just cut them down in between. Now with this tape, the backing is a piece of paper, so for each strip I put down, I'll have to remove the paper. I'll cut a bunch of strips and then we can get started binding. So I have my fabric tape here cut into strips, and I have my pages. The first page that I'm going to make, I'm going to have 3 strips, and I want to space them evenly. I could measure it, I don't have to, but I want to make sure that there's room in between those spacings for my next page of binding. And so for my next page of binding, I'll just have 2 strips. I could always make them closer together and do 3 strips on both pages of bindings, but I don't feel that's necessary. I think the 3 and the 2 work out well. So I'm using a silicone mat because it's very easy to remove the tape this way. I can just remove the backing from the tape this way, place it down, making like a little hinge onto my paper, and then I can press it right on the silicone mat. It will come off the silicone mat very easily, and that's why I like using it. And again, I'm always just eyeballing where I'm putting my tape. The first page is going to be hidden because I'm going to attach it to my cover, so it doesn't have to be lined up. I'm going to also create my second page. So I like to just set this aside, set all my papers aside off camera here. And now I'm going to make 2 hinges in between these first hinges. So I'll peel off the backing of the tape, just a little time consuming this way. And then I try and line it up just so that I know exactly where it's going to go. And I don't have to press it down onto the silicone mat. I can just leave it there. So now I'm ready to start my binding process. I'll pick up my first page and flip it over. And so my sticky part of the tape is up here. I'll take the second page and set it down. So now I want to take the 3 from the first page and press it over onto that second page. And now I'm ready to start with a third page. So now for the third page, I'll use my 3 strips again. I have 3 strips up here, and that's what I'll use. So I'll take off the tape and press it down into the same position as those original 3 strips. So once that's done, I'll take this page up, put it on top of the second page, the pile of pages, and now I'll take those 2 strips from the second page and press those over. And now I'll continue this process with all the remaining pages. So I'll take 1 page here and I'll put the 2 strips down. Now I'll take this 2 strip page, set it on top of my pile, and then I'll cross over those 3 strips. So because I've crossed over the 3 strips, the next page that I'm going to set up are 3 more strips, and I'll continue this process alternating between 3 and 2 strips until all my pages are bound together. So now when you come to your last page, you don't need to put tape on it. You just set your last page down and press the last of the tape onto it for the binding. Isn't that a beautiful bound book? Now you can use your book like this. It's quite beautiful, but because I have this tag that I want to use, this little metal tag, that's what I'm going to do now. I have the backing of the book and the front of the book. So I think that's so precious. I'm going to take this red tape, put it on the tag, so I remove the red backing for the tape. I'll just line up my pages and press it inside that cover. Just like that. You can open the front page and just really burnish it, make sure it has a good seal. Then I'll come back to the back of the book and do the same thing here. So I remove the tape, just line this up. Set it down, burnish it, and I have this cute little book with the tab binding. I can add additional things to the book or just have a cute little handmade book. Now let me show you one I've already created where I added a lot of collage to it. So it's the same book, same number of pages, but because I collaged in them, it's a little thicker. Now I used washi tape, and so because I covered over the washi tape, it's still secure. But I have these cute little collages on each of the pages. I kind of focused on hearts and then a lot of neutrals. And so you can make this cute little handmade book. Just love it. I knew immediately when I saw that metal tag that it would make a really adorable book. And so that's what I did with it. And now I have another book that I can get ready to actually work inside, make it a little art book.
So that's how I make my little handmade book using a tag and the tab binding process. I think it's fascinating. I love the look from the side, what you see on the spine, as well as the overall feel of the book. Have you tried this method? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you for joining me today.